Hello YouTube, Tim here, and I've got a small project. Right now I want to test a whole bunch of ways to glue fabric, specifically pieces of leather. This is what I'm working with, false leather, PVC as well, really, onto little sections of PVC. I had some SDR21 that I wanted to get rid of, so that's really light gauge PVC, basically unsuitable for anything except for light toys, and it's just not a great bow making material, but it's wonderful to flatten out. Really heats up quickly and easy to flatten. So we have a few squares of it right here, and I've written on them what I'm going to use to adhere the squares of leather. First, just plain old Loctite. I'm going to just use the regular liquid cyanoacrylate glue. In this case, the multi-purpose spray. This is a spray adhesive. This one's repositionable. Then there's another version of it which is identical except for strength, and it's really barely repositionable. You have to rip it off. This one you can just scoot around and nudge left and right. So I'm going to use the strong spray over here. Here I'm going to use Titebond 2. And here I'm going to use hot glue. Now on the other side, obviously, which I've lightly sanded, very lightly. So I'm going to go and do each of those now. Here we are testing the Titebond 2 with this square of pleather. Just get the applicator open. There we go. Flipping it over to the sanded side. Or if the applicator's clogged. Alright, tell you what. I'm going to go ahead and manually apply a little bit. That should be way more than generous. I'll have to examine the applicator and see if I can unclog it later, but the whole reason I had my finger gloved up was so that I could spread it around. I don't have a brush or anything like that to do that with. Okay, and we have that on. Let's just go ahead and stick the pleather on as well. And then nice thing about the PVA glues, they clean up so easily. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem even if I get this on the counter. But rather not, but worst case scenario, right? Okay. So now I'm just spreading it out, smoothing it out. I'm not going to clamp this because I wouldn't when I'd actually be applying this to a real bow. So why should I create unrealistic conditions? Just a little bit of water, and we can clean that right up. Okay, so we have the finished applied piece of pleather. All I need to do now is let it dry, and then we can attempt to peel it off, play around with it then. So, off into the corner it goes. Let's get on with the others. Here we go with the next portion. This is going to be using traditional cyanoacrylate Superglue, Loctite in this case. Flipping it over to the sanded side. Again, I lightly sanded them. I didn't sand them as much as I would have if I was creating a full wood grain, but still quite a bit. So now I'm going to apply it to the PVC rather than the leather. I'm just going to do it in strips like this. I guess I'll put a few drops here and there. I'm going to use quite a lot. I don't think this one's going to work very well. I think it'll hold really well, but who knows? This nice fabric backing is probably going to absorb a lot. So we'll see if it adheres and how well. Okay, let's pick that up and try not to get any on me. That would be one for the blooper reel. Didn't get stuck to a piece of PVC with leather. Try and explain that one as you go into work. Alright, so it appears on. The corner didn't adhere, so I'm going to put a little dollop of glue there. There we go. I suppose we should at least get the corners to adhere. And this does seem like it's doing the trick so far. It's holding it down. And I think as it dries, it should dry very strong. I've had good success holding down edges with Titebond, loctite in the past. Okay. There we go. Into the pile. Let's get on with the other. I'm outside here in the garage. Not only do we have a little bit better light, but I also have the high performance, and they actually call it a middleweight bonding. But compared to this, it's extremely strong. This is a high initial tack. This one is still repositionable after you stick it on. So I've shaken them both up. We're ready to go. They say to spray them, let tack for between 1 to 10 minutes, and then join them. If you want a high strength, you apply a medium bond or a medium coat to both surfaces. So, strong on the left, and the multi-purpose on the right. I'm going to apply a coat to both of them. First of all, with the strong spray. So first of all, they said then spray it upside down, 2 seconds to clear out the nozzle. Let's go over here. Okay. And the same thing, upside down. Tell you what, I'm not sure if this really sprayed right, since I was spraying sideways. Okay, we're just going to let this tack for a minute, and then as it dries, we will apply them. That's it. This is all. This is how I put on the false leather, the pleather to the first and second. Oh shoot! I covered up the wrong sides. You knew that was going to happen. Okay, this is going to the blooper clip. Anyway, we will still know which is different because I'm leaving this in the left, and I'll label them again inside. So. Wonderful. Once 1 minute has passed, we can then go in and apply them. So let's start over here with the medium tack or the repositionable one. Okay, starting off, just putting it on and pressing down. I will have some adhesive on my fingers now. Great. But that's okay. So there's that version. Over on this side, it's not tacked for about a minute. Let's go and do the same thing. This stuff is strong. This stuff really doesn't allow you to. So I'm actually going to do it upside down. I'm going to first lay the block down on top of it, and then it should just lift right off. Look at that. How's that for using your noodle? Much easier. Okay, so we now have both of them ready to go. I'm going to go inside and relabel them, and it's easy to tell which is which. And then we'll go and finish the testing with the hot glue and do everything else. And then we'll let them all cure for a day or two. And then I'll show you my results and try and pull them off. We'll see which is strong, which is cured the most, which is the most suitable for this sort of application. Here we are with the block labeled hot glue. So I have a heated hot glue gun and the piece of pleather. Flipping it over, let's go ahead and apply a good series of beads of hot glue. I'm probably going to let it, I think my typical technique when I apply an awful lot over a large area is to let it cool. And then I can come back with the heat gun and just sort of, well, you reheat it like that, and then you have a little bit more control over it all. So, having said that, you can unplug the hot glue gun and go ahead and carefully just make sure all of this hot glue is still hot. Okay, I feel safe in saying it is. Let's go ahead and take our piece of pleather, put it down. Now if you like, you can even reheat through the pleather. That may improve adhesion. Something you also notice is you can see some of the hot glue through it. I don't like that very much, but I have noticed it when I've used hot glue to glue down leather. You can, like I say, when you heat it through here gently so as not to melt the PVC leather, you can go ahead and heat it and then smooth it out a little bit. We can try that here, but this is all just cosmetic. We're not really concerned with how it looks. I want to see how it adheres. Okay, let's see. Yeah, see, that's not even enough. We'd have to do quite a bit more than that. I'd probably end up softening the entire pipe piece. So for now, that's good enough. Now we have all of our samples done. And I'm eager to wait another day. I mean, the hot glue does not need to wait a day. It just needs to cool. But all the other glues do need to cure. So to see exactly how well they all adhere, that's what we're going to do. I guess if you wanted to get the hot glue a little bit more evenly applied, you could take a hot knife. What I'd do is I'd take a butter knife and I'd heat it, or I guess if you had a trowel or a spatula, that would be perfect. Heat that up and take the hot glue and just spread it in a thin film. Once you had it in a thin film, it should be very, very easy to apply it without bumps. I haven't tried that yet, but I see no problem, at least theoretically, with the whole application. Like before, I'm just going to go into the corner and glue down the corners. Because that bugs me. Alright, we're good. Thanks for watching. Check back in a few days.